Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are taking a shortcut into a text that is so incredibly central to early faith, yet so bizarre and apocalyptic. It was nearly erased from history. Mm-hmm. We were talking about the books of Enoch.
And it's not, just one single book. It's this whole profound collection of writings.
Right.
For this deep dive, we're really pulling together the major revelations from what we call 1 Enoch, 2 Enoch, and 3 Enoch. The oldest one, 1 Enoch, that's the big one. It dates back over 2,000 years.
Oh.
Yeah, from around 300 BC up to the 1st century BC. And while we, scholars debate if it was first written in Aramaic or Hebrew, the only full version that survived is in Ge'ez.
The language of the Ethiopian church.
Exactly. So our mission here is to sort of unpack the cosmic secrets inside and figure out why this text was so incredibly influential.
And when you say influential, we're talking about, foundational influence. This isn't some obscure bit of lore.
Not at all.
It's right there in the source code, so to speak. Mm-hmm. A passage from 1 Enoch is quoted, word for word in the New Testament.
In the letter of Jude, yep.
Which suggests the writers in the New Testament letters, they saw this text as authoritative, as scripture.
Absolutely. It was a widely accepted map of the spiritual universe at that time.
Okay, so let's unpack this epic story. It all starts with this primal catastrophe, right? The story of the Watchers.
This is all laid out in the first major section, the Book of the Watchers. So the Watchers were this special class of angels.
Okay.
They lived in the holy eternal place in heaven, and their big mistake, their transgression was, it was simple, but it shattered everything.
They looked down.
They saw the beautiful daughters of men, and they just decided to abandon their duties, their spiritual home, to take wives from humanity.
So this wasn't just a minor slip-up. This was a cosmic betrayal.
A complete betrayal. And by leaving their high estate, they became totally corrupt, creatures of the earth. Yeah. And the source makes it really clear that the consequences of this union were not human.
Monstrous is the word that comes to mind.
Truly grotesque. These unions, they produce these massive offspring, the giants, or the Nephilim.
And the text gives a specific size, doesn't it?
It does, 3,000 cubits high. Which is, it's an impossible, staggering height. It's meant to show they are supernatural monsters.
Let's put that in perspective. 3,000 cubits is what? Like 4,500 feet? That's almost a mile tall.
Yeah.
These aren't just big guys. They're walking ecological disasters.
They absolutely were. And because their appetites were, half divine, they were just insatiable. They devoured everything. All the toil of men, all the crops, all the resources.
So Matt ran out.
That's when it gets really dark. They started consuming humanity itself. The source describes them turning to cannibalism, just devouring each other's flesh, drinking blood. The earth just couldn't sustain them.
But the Watchers didn't just bring physical destruction. Mm-hmm. They also triggered a kind of spiritual collapse by handing out forbidden knowledge.
This is so key. The angel Azazel is named as the main corrupter here. And he taught two kinds of things. First, the arts of war. How to make swords, daggers, shields, breastplates, just instantly escalating violence.
And the second thing?
The arts of vanity. How to make up the eyes, beautify eyelids, create colored dyes.
That pairing is fascinating. Why does the text put lethal weapons and eyeshadow in the same category of forbidden knowledge?
Because they both led to the same end result. Great impiety, a distraction from the divine order.
Right. One corrupts the body through violence, the other corrupts the spirit through pride.
Exactly. The world was it was utterly changed by this. And Azazel, he wasn't acting alone.
Other Watchers were involved.
Oh, yeah. They had specialties. Amezerak taught spellcasting and root cutting for magic. Baraquel and Tamiel taught astrology. Azradel taught the paths of the moon.
Giving human secrets that were meant only for angels.
That's it. And the turmoil was so great that the earth itself began to protest. The souls of men cried out to heaven for help.
And this is where the action shifts, up to the celestial court. 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Suriel, and Uriel, they appeal directly to the King of Kings.
And God's response is immediate. It's total judgment.
And it's not just a general punishment. It's very specific, very tailored.
Perfectly tailored. First, you have Noah, son of Lamech. He gets the warning about the coming flood that's going to wipe everything clean.
But what about Azazel? His fate is uniquely agonizing.
Oh, he's singled out for the worst of it. He is bound hand and foot and just cast into total darkness in the desert of Dudael. And he's covered with jagged, sharp stones. His face is veiled so he can never see light again, and he's just left there. until the great day of judgment when he'll be hurled into eternal fire.
And the other watchers are bound under the hills. But what happens to their children, the giants? They're killed, but they leave something behind, don't they?
They do, a permanent spiritual blight. The giants themselves are destroyed, but the spirits that came from their corrupted flesh, the text calls them the evil spirits.
And they get to stay on Earth.
They stay on Earth, cursing and tormenting humanity forever. This is the text's explanation for the origin of demons.
That really sets the cosmic stage. The Earth is cursed, the rebels are bound,
Yeah.
and now we get to Enoch himself. Because he's unique, he doesn't die.
He doesn't die, he's just taken to heaven. And his transformation is maybe the most shocking secret in these later texts in 2 and 3 Enoch.
His job at first was scribe of righteousness, right?
He was documenting the sins of the watchers. But when he's taken to heaven, he doesn't just become a prophet, he becomes a completely new, vastly superior kind of being.
And this is where it gets, truly wild. In 3 Enoch, we get this description of the human Enoch undergoing a literal total conversion into the supreme celestial being known as Metatron.
The descriptions are just designed to blow your mind, to convey this absolute transcendence.
Right.
He's lifted up on a fiery chariot with the Shekinah, the manifest presence of God. But when he gets there, the other angels immediately protest. They complain they can smell this. One born of woman.
But God doesn't just tell them to be quiet. He gives Enoch a cosmic upgrade.
A complete overhaul of his entire being. God places his hand on Enoch, and he grows to the length and width of the entire world.
Of the entire world.
His flesh turns to flames, his bones to burning coals. He gets 72 wings, 36 on each side, and 365 eyes, each one shining like the sun.
That physical description alone is just staggering. But the title he receives, that's maybe the most audacious theological claim in the entire
It really is. It places him almost on par with the divine. God calls him the Lesser YHWH.
So, for anyone listening, YHWH is the most sacred, the unpronounceable name of God in the Hebrew tradition, the Tetragrammaton.
Usually translated as Lord.
So call him the Lesser YHWH. What does that even imply?
It implies he is God's representative.
Yeah.
That he holds God's authority in the cosmos. The text even says God's holy name is literally in him.
Wow.
So Metatron is appointed as the ultimate cosmic vice-regent, ruler over all other princes and celestial beings. Except for 8 supreme high princes, he gets a throne right next to the throne of glory.
You can see why this text had such a huge impact on early Jewish mysticism and even early Christian debates about Jesus. It provides this powerful template for a human-divine interface.
It completely redefined the possibilities.
Okay, let's pivot from that spiritual hierarchy to the hard data Enoch received.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a prophet, he was a cosmic geographer.
Exactly. In the Book of the Heavenly Luminaries, he gets this incredibly meticulous education on the clockwork of the universe.
What does he see?
He sees the pillars that hold up heaven, the cornerstone of the earth, the storehouses of the winds, even a river of fire that flows into the great sea.
And he gets an astronomy lesson from the angel Uriel.
A detailed one. Uriel reveals this whole intricate celestial machine. The sun and moon don't just rise and set, they move through 6 specific gates of heaven in the east and 6 in the west.
And this governs the seasons, the whole divine order of time, which leads to maybe the most critical technical reveal in the whole book, the calendar.
This is arguably the most radical and practical teaching in 1 Enoch. Uriel teaches him a precise solar calendar that calculates the year as exactly 364 days.
364.
And that number isn't random. It's perfectly divisible by 7, which means every feast day, every holy day falls on the same day of the week every single year.
How do they get to that number?
It's through a system of 30 and 31-day months, but the absolute crucial part is adding 4 specific days, 1 in each season.
Intercalary days.
Exactly. And the text warns again and again that humans go wrong and bring chaos on themselves because they fail to reckon these 4 days correctly.
So wait, if the entire harmony of the universe is tied to such a tiny detail, just 4 extra days, what's the theological implication of making that one small error?
It's massive. Deviating from the 364-day calendar means you are deviating from the divine covenant. Your festivals are wrong. Your understanding of time is wrong. You are out of sync with the entire divine mechanism.
It frames it as cosmic ignorance leading to a divine curse.
Pretty much. And it's not just time. It's the weather, too. He sees the 12 gates of the winds.
Right.
4 of them release winds of blessing, rain, fruitfulness. But the other 8 release winds of punishment, drought, devastation, locusts. So this whole text is a field guide to avoiding cosmic disaster.
And speaking of cosmic disaster, let's turn to the grand finale of these books, the final judgment.
The later sections of Enoch, they really focus on this ultimate reckoning, and it all centers on a figure called the Chosen One, or the Son of Man.
Whose name was established before creation.
Just like Metatron's authority, yes. He is destined to be a staff for the righteous and the light of the nations.
And what happens to the powerful elites of the world? The kings, the rich, the oppressors.
Total humiliation, annihilation. They were thrown down from their thrones because they relied on earthly power and wealth, not on God. The text says they'll melt like wax or sink like lead before the Chosen One. Their dwelling will be eternal darkness.
And this is symbolized in that vision of the mineral mountains, right?
Yes. The mountains of iron, copper, silver, and gold. They're seen melting away. It's this powerful image showing that all earthly treasure is completely worthless in the Judgment era.
There's also that very strange vision of history told through animal metaphors, the animal apocalypse.
It's a complex allegory for the history of Israel. You have bulls as the patriarchs, sheep as Israel, and predators as foreign nations.
And the key part is the shepherds.
Right, the 70 shepherds who are appointed to rule the sheep. But the tragedy is that they end up destroying more sheep than they were commanded to. They exceed their mandate, and they too face judgment for that overreach.
Okay, so we have to ask the big question. Why was a book that was so clearly influential on the New Testament writers ultimately excluded from the Jewish canon?
The reason is theological. We actually have a record of this debate from the 2nd century between Justin Martyr and Trypho the Jew.
And Trypho rejected it.
He did, explicitly. The major sticking point was the book's core premise, that angels could sin and revolt against God. For the developing Hebrew canon, the idea that celestial beings could fall and physically corrupt the world, it was seen as blasphemous, or at least just too radical.
So a book that gave this complete, intricate map of heaven and the origins of evil was just too extreme because it suggested the spiritual world was also corruptible.
Precisely. It introduced a level of complexity, of accountability to the angelic realm that was, in the end, too unsettling for the emerging Orthodox structure.
This has been an extraordinary deep dive. Let's try to bring it all back to some core takeaways.
I think we've learned that this Enochic collection offered a cosmology that was far more complex and structured than, standard scripture. It gave a definitive account for the origin of human suffering and forbidden knowledge, the fall of the Watchers.
And maybe most importantly, it provided a precise, calculated solar calendar system, that 364-day year.
Tying correct cosmic reckoning directly to divine blessing or curse. It's a complete operating manual for the universe.
It really is. And here is our final thought for you, the listener, building on Enoch's warnings. The text suggests that the entire divine order could be missed because of something as small as failing to calculate 4 days correctly. So, if the secrets to cosmic harmony were found in something as simple as counting the days precisely, what fundamental foundational assumption are you miscalculating or overlooking in your own pursuit of truth? Keep digging and keep the count exact.